All right, so what food can I sell from home in New York? And are home bakeries allowed in New York City? So in this video from Cottage Foods Laws, we're actually gonna go over a handful of resources I got sent over from a friend of mine in New York. We're gonna go dive into what the foods you can and foods you can't make in New York City under their cottage food laws. And we're gonna dive into that here on this podcast. All right, guys, so welcome back to Cottage Foods Laws. This is actually our podcast. We're gonna take this, we're gonna go ahead and record this and get this popped up on our YouTube channel. We're gonna upload this to Cottage Food Laws on our YouTube channel as well. So I've got over some handful of information here open on my laptop. I had a great question from some of my subscribers here on Cottage Food, and of course, check out our other food entrepreneur websites. We've got a food truck channel. We also have Marketing Food Online, which has over 100,000 subscribers and over 1,000 videos for you guys for a food entrepreneurship. So glancing over here, taking a look at this great list, it's actually all the foods that you can and the foods that you cannot make from home, including home-based bakeries. And under cottage food laws in New York City, bakeries are allowed only but certain types of food items on the cottage food list. So this whole video is gonna give you an example of what you can make and what you can't make. So we want to make sure that we are clear on what you can do, because you don't want to definitely get in trouble or get fined for making products. So let's go through some of the baked good items, of course. Now, if you're starting a home-based food business in New York, and of course, by the way, if this is your first video here or podcast, definitely hit the subscribe button, guys. We have tons of videos here on Cottage Foods Laws in regards to home-based food businesses. So definitely do that and check out our other channels, as I mentioned before. So we've got wedding cakes, donuts, regular cakes. If you don't want to do wedding cakes and you just want to do birthday cakes or any of that thing, you can as well. Now, the one thing about this though, you want to make sure that the frosting or the filling is not a time or temperature sensitive item. So that could be anything from like cream cheese, or if it's buttercream, some of these things that have to be incorporated into your icings and frostings that have to be refrigerated, or they're time or temperature sensitive, you can't do those. Okay, so just keep that in mind, okay? But if you want to start a wedding cake business, that is actually a huge business, of course, in New York City. It is so populated, and there's so many people that, of course, you have an opportunity to do weddings. That is a huge opportunity, and there's a ton of variations of different types of wedding cakes, of course, that you could do along the ways. Now, you can also do breads, you can do biscuits, cake pops are allowed as well, tortillas, you can do cupcakes. There's a huge market right there. Especially if you're looking to sell them at local markets, or if you have someone who puts a large order in, maybe for an event or something, they want to take them. Now keep in mind now too, the way that you deliver these, you can deliver these yourself, or if you're comfortable with it, customers can actually come to your home and pick up their orders and take them to wherever they wish to take them. But you can definitely have people pick it up, or you can deliver it yourself to your customers. Muffins, cookies, brownies, bagels, and scones. Now, bagels, brownies, cookies, muffins, and scones. That is a large amount of different types of items. Now keep in mind, these are just one single type of baked good. If you've got 12, 13, or even variations of these different type of items, you definitely can go ahead and make those and sell them as well. Brownies, there's probably an infinite amount of ways that you can make brownies. Same thing with cookies or muffins. Scones are hugely popular too. Now, with that being said, let me double check here, because scones, in New York, you're allowed to sell to restaurants and retail stores. So if you're doing scones, baked goods, or anything like that, and you want to supply local coffee houses or local restaurants or local retail stores, you actually can do that in New York. They updated their law to allow you to do that. So that's something that's fantastic, especially with bagels. If you've got a fantastic bagel that you make and you want to resell it or sell it or supply some local coffee shops or local bakeries, even with your own baked goods, you can definitely do that. That's fantastic. So next up, candies. Now there's a ton of candies, from lollipops to brittles, and of course just in general candy. If you do hard candies, if you do lollipops, if you do fudge, these are also allowed under New York's cottage food laws with their updated version, which just happened recently after, of course, what we went through in 2020 and 2021. So condiments such as honeys and syrups, you could do pasta noodles, dried vegetables, herbs, spices, and seasonings. Now guys, this is a huge opportunity, because spices and seasonings are a product that is in enormous demand. And of course, if you've got restaurants, again, restaurants or little eateries or even sandwich shops or whatever it may be, even pizzerias, if you've got a spice or seasoning blend that you can sell to them, you have that opportunity in New York. And if you love to make it, you can actually do this right out of your home. So we got, next up, we have pastries, pies, and cones. You also have jams, jellies, and marmalades. Now this is interesting, because jams and jellies In a lot of the cottage food states throughout the United States, from my research and all of the years that I've known about these laws, jams and jellies are very hard to do in some states that they don't allow you to make them at home. New York, you can do that. Snacks. Now, this is something that's a big market product as well. Again, selling to retail stores, grocery stores, whatever it may be. Granola, popcorn, veggie chips, nuts, seeds, roasted nuts, seasoned nuts, kernel corn, caramel corn, candied apples, crackers or pretzels. If you're into making pretzels and such, you can definitely do that as well. And in one moment, I want to get into the prohibited foods. These are foods that you cannot make. Now, one really quick thing. I was just scanning through and taking a look at, there is no sales limit. In New York, you could sell as much as you want out of your home. If you sell $1 million worth of product, so be it. But, of course, keep track of your costs, what you're making, because that counts as income. Of course, you need to file your taxes, and any income that you make from cost versus your sales and your profits, you need to make sure you account for that too. To do this legally and legitimately, I highly recommend you do that. Now, one thing that's not necessarily recommended is food business insurance or an LLC. I highly recommend you do that though. You need to have some legal protection. You can't make this under the cottage food laws in the state and think that you're protected. If someone eats some of your food products and gets sick or ill and somebody sues you or something, then that's going to be a big problem personally. So you want to make sure that you get yourself an LLC and of course get yourself a business license and a food business insurance. Okay, back up to our list of what you can't make. So we covered a vast variety of foods, by the way, of what you can do. Really quick side note, popcorns, granolas, nuts, and seeds. There are literally thousands of different variations. You can go in different directions with these flavors and different flavor profiles. So you can get roasted nuts, you can season them, you can make your own, package them, label them, create your own brand, launch it from home, give yourself an opportunity to test out the waters at farmers markets, restaurants, local grocery stores, and then get to the point where you're selling so much of it that you can go into a commercial kitchen. Maybe even start your own commercial kitchen yourself and develop a food product. This is the best way to do it and test the market because you have pretty much everything you need already in your home. All right, so let's get into the things you can't make. Now, there is a big list, unfortunately, that you can't make. Things like meat jerkies, things like, turkey or beef jerky, turkey jerky, whatever, dried meat products, unfortunately, you can't do at home. You got to get yourself into a commercial kitchen. So if you're looking to create jerkies of any kind, you can't. Next up is nut butters. Peanut butter, almond butter, walnut butter, any of these, cashew butter, any of these types of nut butters, you got to produce those also in a commercial setting, in a commercial kitchen. So you've got chocolates and pickles, also ketchup, coffee beans. Unfortunately, you can't roast and make your own coffee beans. This is a little bit unusual because there are many states that allow you to actually do tea and coffee at home. You can create coffee beans, not necessarily brew it and sell the actual beverage. That's not allowed. But coffee beans you can't do. Juices that are natural juices, because those are items too. Juice has to be kept at a certain temperature, and that has to be refrigerated. So that's something that you can't do as well, unfortunately. Chocolate covered items, sweetbreads, perishable baked goods. So of course, these are items that are time or temperature sensitive. So if you've got something that's a perishable baked good that has to be refrigerated or has to be consumed or eaten very quick, those are, again, time and temperature sensitive. You can't do those. Chocolate covered fruits, salsas. Now this is basically an issue about the pH levels in salsas. A lot of pickles and things. That's why another thing you can't do is pickles and fermented foods like sauerkrauts and things you can't do at home, again, because there's a risk factor involved with the pH level, and if it's not canned or bottled correctly, people can get very sick. Mustards, oils. So yes, flavored infused oils you can't do. Carbonated drinks, unfortunately, that's a no. You can't do that as well. So that is a handful of items through the list that I've got that you cannot produce at home. But you do have a lot, guys, you have a lot of different products that you could make, and you have the opportunity to sell it. Unlike many states, New York allows you to sell it through restaurants. They can sell it through wholesale. So definitely something you want to look into. So this is the foods you can and cannot make on New York cottage food laws. If you have questions about this, let us know down below. Check us out on our podcast. Of course, we have our podcast up and running as well. You can catch us on 11 different platforms, I believe. We're in Google. We're on Amazon as well, and a few other platforms. So if you have any other questions about cottage food businesses, let us know. We're going to be filling this channel up with a lot of great content. I'll see you guys on our next video.